We usually hear music after it becomes legendary, after it's played on the radio, after it fills stadiums, after it feels like it was always meant to exist. But before every classic, there is a moment of uncertainty. Doubts from labels, fear from artists, ideas sitting unfinished on hard drives and tapes, songs that were questioned, rejected, almost erased. Before we begin, this story isn't about one genre or one decade. Today we are touching music from all times, from classic bands to modern icons, different sounds, different eras. Even the greatest music in history was once uncertain. The Beatles, Yesterday. Yesterday didn't sound like the Beatles at all. There were no drums, no guitar solos, no band energy, just Paul McCartney alone with a melody that felt almost too perfect. Paul was so unsure about the songs that he believed he might have unconsciously stolen it. For months he played it to friends and musicians, asking the same question again and again. Have you heard this before? Even the Beatles hesitated. They weren't sure if a solo track belonged on a Beatles record, but they released it. And Yesterday became the most covered song in music history. A reminder that sometimes the simplest idea carries the longest echo. Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody. When Queen finished Bohemian Rhapsody, no one knew how to react. 6 minutes long, no traditional chorus, opera, rock, and ballad fused into one. Radio stations said it was too long. The label asked them to shorten it. Queen refused. Freddie Mercury believed the song had to remain exactly as it was, strange, dramatic, and unpredictable. Against all advice, they released it untouched, and it changed the limits of what popular music could be. Bohemian Rhapsody proved that creativity doesn't need permission. Michael Jackson, Billie Jean. Billie Jean made executive nervous. The bassline was repetitive. The lyrics were dark and obsessive. The mood felt dangerous. Some people at the label thought it didn't fit the Thriller album. Michael Jackson disagreed. He believed the rhythm was the story. He insisted nothing be changed. When Billie Jean was released, it became instantly recognizable. From the very first bass note, it wasn't just a hit. It redefined pop music and proved that instinct can be strongest than industry logic. Next we have Madonna, Like a Prayer. Like a Prayer was deeply personal. It blended religion, sexuality, grief, and emotional vulnerability. For pop music, it crossed lines. Brands pulled sponsorships, radio stations hesitated. Controversy followed immediately. Madonna didn't retreat. She released the song as it was, and it became one of her most powerful works. Some songs aren't meant to be comfortable. They are meant to say something that hasn't been said before. Radiohead, Creep. Radiohead never expected Creep to define them. The band didn't love the song. The label didn't believe in it. Radio stations ignored it at first, but audiences connected with it instantly. The vulnerability, the insecurity, the feeling of not belonging. Creep spread slowly until it became impossible to ignore. It introduced Radiohead to the world, even if the band never planned it that way. Sometimes a song chooses its own destiny. Faceless, Insomnia. Insomnia didn't arrive with hype. It was released quietly, almost unnoticed. At first, clubs ignored it, but DJs began discovering it late at night, in the moments when the dance floor refused to sleep. The track grew organically, year after year, until it became an anthem. Some tracks don't explode, they build, and when they finally hit, they stay forever. Daft Punk, Around the World. Around the World was criticized for being too simple. One sentence repeated endlessly. No traditional structure, no obvious progression, but that repetition was the idea. Daft Punk trusted the groove more than expectations, and electronic music learned something important. Minimalism can be powerful. Think about it. If they had overthought it, this song wouldn't exist. Moby, Porcelain. Moby almost didn't release Porcelain. It felt too quiet, too emotional, too fragile. Electronic music at the time was expected to be loud and functional. Porcelain was introspective. When it was released, it changed how people listened to electronic music. It proved that electronic sounds could express vulnerability. Sometimes softness is the most radical choice. Eric Prydz, Call on Me. Call on Me was rejected again and again. Some people called it lazy. Others said it lacked depth. Eric Prydz kept pushing. The track didn't explain itself. It didn't try to impress critics. It simply worked. Rejection didn't stop it. Persistence turned it into a global anthem. Deadmau5, Strobe. Strobe was considered too slow. 8 minutes long, no immediate payoff. Many thought listeners would lose patience, but patience became its strength. Strobe doesn't rush you. It waits, and when it finally opens up, it stays with you. Some music needs time to reveal itself. And yes, Avicii, Levels. I get a good feeling. Yeah. Before the festivals, before the global fame, Levels was rejected by labels. Too emotional, too different. Avicii played it live anyway. The crowd responded instantly, not because it followed trends, but because it felt real. Levels helped shape modern festival culture. Sometimes the audience knows before the industry does. Adele, Someone Like You. Just piano, just voice. No productive tricks, no distractions. The label hesitated. Adele insisted. When the song was released, the world stopped to listen. It proved that emotion doesn't need decorations. Sometimes, honestly, is enough. This track reminds us of something important. Music isn't about perfection or trends or approval. It's about trusting ideas before anyone else does. Many of the greatest songs in history almost disappeared. That's the untold side of music. And sometimes the songs that almost never existed are the ones that change everything. So now, I leave you with a question. Which song do you remember that almost didn't exist? A track that was rejected, ignored, or misunderstood before it became timeless? Let me know in the comments, because every listener has their own untold music story.